fantasy job, fantasy gig, fantasy, like what is the top? Like if you could just construct your own dream worlds.
Okay.
Everything is make-believe. You can have whatever.
All right. I definitely want to be like a world famous soloist.
Yeah.
Like traveling the world, going to festivals, shutting down theaters, venues. I would love to have a really meaningful experience in all the things I'm interested in.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's like so deep. That's like, you're like, I just want to go as deep into the things that I love.
Yeah.
Hey y'all, welcome back to another Pick Class and Gym Class. This week, I'm joined by Jerron Herman, a New York City-based dancer and interdisciplinary artist with Cerebral Palsy. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited to sit down and talk with you. I am a huge fan. You are one of the most beautiful dancers I've ever seen. Will you just tell me a little bit about Jerron?
Yeah, oh my gosh. Jerron is a kid from the Bay Area, East Bay, born and raised in Alameda, California. In like this, you know, super quaint little seaside hovel town, and it was there that I sparked my interest in the arts, particularly writing though.
Okay.
So my brother's an actor, my older brother, Jacques, and he's an actor, and so I was kind of a latchkey kid, and so I would have to go to his performances, of course. And
Well, yeah, I'm his older brother.
Right.
You know how many wrestling meets I've been to in my life?
Yeah,
and I don't
right.
care at all about wrestling.
Well, so this is the funniest thing. It's like, yeah, I didn't think I would like really attach to anything that he's doing, because
Yeah.
But there was this other thing. It's your older brother, right?
Mm-hmm, yep.
Yeah. So like there was this hero worship that I had too, which was like I wanted to be there wherever he was.
Yeah.
And so I just took to the environment that he was a part of, like the cast, the director, the staging, lighting, all that was super intriguing to me. But there's no one like me with a disability, you know, in those spaces. So I was like, okay, well, I don't know how I could be an actor or be like a performer in these spaces, so I'll write. And so yeah, I just started like doing short stories, poems, and then started getting into playwriting. And then that's how I even came to New York. I got accepted to Tisch School of the Arts for playwriting, and I was like starting off, you know, on this crazy trajectory. I was going to be a Tony Award winner and, you know, write for SNL, all these things.
Yeah,
like,
you're like, I'm going
ambitions.
straight to the top.
Yeah.
Straight line.
Oh yeah.
Straight to the top.
No, I was gonna like, it was gonna be like rose-petaled red carpets.
Yeah, exactly.
But then financial insecurities and different things just happened, so I couldn't stay at Tisch. And so I transferred to the school called the King's College, and I pretty much made my own arts curriculum of the city,
That's
right?
cool.
And
Yeah.
the city became my teacher.
Yeah.
So I was everyone's intern, what have you. I ended up like at this internship at the New Victory Theater on 42nd Street. And I was just doing simple admin stuff in arts education.
Yeah,
But
as
then,
an intern does.
and I was kind of a bad intern, actually. Like,
I'd like that.
now that I look back, I was like, ooh, I didn't really do too well. Like, thank goodness I didn't need that as a real job.
Yeah.
But that led me to meet a choreographer who thought I had good movement. I was an interesting mover. Was interested in my, like, you know, freewheeling self. I was really gung-ho for a lot of different things that he like would throw at the participants. And so then like, this is mind you like 5 days that I'm meeting this cat. And around like Thursday, he hands me a ringing phone with Heidi Latsky on the other line. And from there, it was like, went to a studio to audition for her. Then 2 hours later, I was invited to join the company. And then a year later...
2 hours later?
2 hours later.
Oh my God.
And then a year later, I performed at Lincoln Center.
Do you like deal with like low-key haters because you've had such a quick career?
Yeah. Oh, oof, ooh.
I know, I'm going in.
That actually got like...
I don't even know if I'm allowed to ask that, but I'm gonna do it.
I actually had, oh gosh, I had an ex-girlfriend who was really upset that I like... Oh, shoot.
I believe that. I've heard that actually exes, so I get drug tested a lot for track and field, and a lot of people that call in to tattle on like the dopers, like my guy told me, he's like, it's mostly ex-girlfriends.
Oh,
and I'm like,
shoot.
dang.
Well, you know, this is
Hateful.
the thing too. It was just like it's a gender thing and like a I guess like a just like a you know novice thing. Like
Yeah.
how like men in the industry get lauded and advance much quicker than women.
Yeah,
I
you
feel
guys
like
have, it's less, less
there's
people to go through.
competition too. I mean, everyone's looking for a male in the dance. Thank you.
Yeah, you're
God.
like, I'm not mad about it. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I remember that was really hard because it was like, because I saw how much they wanted it, and then it was hard to get it, and then they couldn't get it.
Yeah, and your trajectory's been quick. I feel like across the board, no matter what you do, like 2018, 2019 has been a really weird, I just feel like shift in the world.
For sure.
Just like as far as communication, social media, whatever, but even like industries alone, like for so long there's been this like mindset where it's like you work hard for a long time and then you can advance. Like you have to go through these steps and then you advance.
Yes.
But like no more.
No more.
No
the
more.
leapfrog is real.
Thing.
It's such a good thing. I mean, one of the things I struggle with too is like leapfrogging in my own identity too. Like how do you become like a real disabled person, if you will?
Yeah.
Like I was diagnosed when I was 3 months old.
Okay.
And so, but like I meet people who've like acquired a disability and they're so much more comfortable, it seems, in their body. And it's like I get really insecure because I'm like, why don't I have that confidence? Because I'm used to trying to be like everyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I call it disability denial.
Yeah.
I had disability denial for a long time.
Yeah.
So I lost my leg when I was right before I turned 10.
Oh, okay.
But like when you grow up with a disability, especially if you have siblings, like your family honestly does not care.
Oh, yeah.
Like they're just like, you're fine. Like
the dishes need to be taken out. The garbage to be taken out. Make your bed.
That's like my mom's
Don't
highlight
cry.
reel when she does interviews on my behalf, which is like always a slippery slope. But she's like when Lacey lost her leg, she's like, I told her, she's like, you may not have a leg, but you better hop your one leg around that bed and still make it. And I'm like, that is true. She did tell me that. I was like, I spent a lot of money in therapy, but I'm relatively adjusted. I feel like so often you see like people that are like integrated in the disabled community that like had done it since they were little. Yeah. The demographic looks different than you. Like again, it's like that definitely has culturally probably been a big player. Like just as much as disability affects your like who you are and what you look like. Right. Like what has the response been being like an urban black male?
Yeah.
Because they're always like, it's like I want to tiptoe around it, but like you're a black dude. And like in the world of dance, what's that like?
Yeah. Well, there's a legacy of really fantastic black dance artists, male dance artists. I mean, we're literally in a city where there's a multi-million-dollar complex named after a black man.
That's
Black
phenomenal.
Alvin Ailey. And then there's another one that's run by another fantastic giant, Bill T. Jones.
Yes.
So it's like they're like...
There's still a legacy.
There's a legacy of black male dance. I happen to really, I'm really drawn to this one dancer. He passed away like years ago, Jeffrey Holder.
Okay.
And Jeffrey Holder was like, he was a Bond villain and like 8 feet tall, like not really, but like in movies, he was in, he did Broadway, he like did the costumes for the original production of The Wiz. This guy was like a Renaissance man. And so I really looked at that as like a framework and as a person. And actually also like as a fashion guru, like he was so out there, like as I'm wearing these checkered pants, it's like homage to him today a little bit, because like I love this juxtaposition of style, where
contrast,
the contrast, and like
you look fresh.
I appreciate.
You walked
that.
in and I was like, I gotta get me some pants. Like I was like, okay, he looks amazing.
But yeah, contemporary black man. I am really into nuancing that too.
Yeah.
It's all about the nuance. Like I really don't want to. I don't want to be fearful of putting on a hoodie, because it casts a pall over my, on someone's perception of my intelligence or where I came from. Because I came from a super, yuppie area, homogeneously white.
Yeah, it was like the Bay. I'm like, this could go one of two ways.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. But it was so funny because like I grew up in an all-black church, and they all was like grown up, reared in an all-white neighborhood. Yeah. So I had like both worlds.
So many contrasting identities.
Contrast. What can I say? Literally, I think like I don't know. One of the things that I really do want to stress and think about for my whole life, really, is like what I was diagnosed with, hemiplegia. Like literally. hemi, you know?
Yeah,
and
just one half
hemisphere.
split.
Yeah, the split. And so like how that split resonates on all the planes and across the disciplines.
Oh, I
I'm
just
really
got like
into that.
shivers. I'm like, that is like poetry.
Good.
I'm like, that's the good stuff. I'd read it. I'd watch it. I would do it. I'd subscribe.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's happening.
I would
It's gonna come
send
through.
money to that GoFundMe.
The Patreon?
Yeah, I'd participate in the Patreon. Is that what you do?
No, I don't at all.
What's it been like for you, like growing up, basically not being around? Because I'm assuming like most people that I've met that have had a disability for a long time, as adults now, like we didn't grow up with other people with disabilities.
Yeah.
Like, you're the only person in your community.
Right.
What has been like the difference as far as community, I guess, growing up versus the community you find yourself in now?
Yeah, I always thought I was gonna be the only one. You know, I was prepared because K through 12, I really was. So I was already like, okay, if I have to be the only person in the room, like you have to recognize, you have to write the script, recognize how to like speak to someone about your disability or about what you're like, how to explain what's going on with you in layman's terms. Like you can't be like, oh, I have a congenital, hemiplegia cerebral palsy.
Yeah, you're like, if I have hemiplegia cerebral palsy, they're like,
I just want to, go on the swings, dude.
just let me be a kid.
Just let me be a kid. So it really was a process of like having to get comfortable with the medicalization of it, and then also bypass that, like almost in the same breath.
Yeah.
You have to be like, yeah, I have a disability, but I'm cool.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about
like,
it.
I'm managing it just fine.
Yeah, exactly. There was always like this, one, because I was very aware of how the normal way you think about disability, like people drooling, people in a corner, wheelchair.
I always say this, I'm like, we have terrible marketing. Honestly, people with disabilities, we've had really bad marketing for a long time.
Yeah.
We need to liven it up a little bit.
Totally. Get some sexy.
Yeah, exactly. Put a little sex on it. For sure.
So yeah, whatever. So yeah, I was really resolved to be the only
you're like, I
one.
don't really identify with that.
Exactly.
But I definitely have something going on.
Yeah, so it's so funny though, it wasn't until I joined the dance company that I even got the friends with disabilities that I have now, or like a community. It really was, one, joining the dance company, I learned to dance in the company. Like it was trial by fire, dance on the job. And then on
here's
top
first position. Were you dancing before, like you kind of were found, or like were you?
Okay,
were
so this
you
is the
a
real
closeted
tea.
dancer?
Yeah, I was not even a closet dancer. I was like, get me to a house party, I'm shutting it down.
Yes.
No, like honestly, I'm not even trying to gas myself up with this. Like people have told me that I like inspired them as I danced to Lil Jon. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like the true American poet.
Right.
Beautiful modern poeticism of Lil Jon.
Lil Jon. Yeah, there's Keats and there's Lil Jon. No, like, cause like it was freeing. Movement was freeing, and there are things that you can communicate in your body through dance that you sometimes can't communicate with your voice.
Absolutely.
I think trying to even relay to someone else why you're feeling how you're feeling is very hard, and it takes a lot of introspection and awareness. So if you're not already, in tune to that, then how are you going to try and like translate it through language?
Yeah, you're
to
like,
another
dump
person.
these words out of my body.
And I was like, who's really expecting that? I remember one time someone asked me, how you doing? I was like, I'm actually kind of lonely. They literally backed up. And I was like, okay, so you can't really.
They were like,
not ready for all that realness. So it's like, you have to mitigate like what you say and how you communicate, where you are. But I think through dance, everyone gets it, you know? That guy's joyous. That guy's killing it, or that girl, she's trying to smooth it out.
Yeah, she's trying to smooth it out.
She's a cheerleader trying to smooth it out.
God.
Bless her.
Honestly, not just in this society, but just the world in general, like expressing emotions verbally is not something that was ever a priority.
Right.
And I think that's why dance, for so many people, like people connect with it because like we be deep in our feelings. Like people be so deep in their feelings, but there's not an outlet for it.
Right.
So often we find ourselves ironically paralyzed with our own stuff, just being like, just feeling emotional and not knowing how to get it out. Did you find like the things in your mind, like as you were working through stuff, like did you find that you, like, I know that you write, did you find that dance was just like another way that you were just working through some stuff, or that you were like actually getting more inspiration?
Yeah, I think that I have a travel journal. So my brother Jacques, he gave me a travel journal like 3.5 years ago, whatever. And so I just started to write down when I would go for a gig or vacation, and that was really illuminating. I look back at a lot of the entries, and it really is the stuff that I needed to remember, you know, in terms of like where your body is in space and in time, and like how you're going through, how you're getting through. Now, in explicit terms, writing hasn't really filtered into my artistic practice. Like I've kept it separate. So I write plays. Now I write plays with disabled characters, which is new, and I think I definitely attribute that to my community, disability community, being more comfortable in disability, but still it's very separate. But in the last kind of dance piece I did, I incorporated audio description in a different way.
That's cool.
Trying to make it more creative, because I described my movement for, you know, low vision,
well, it's
blind
accessible.
folks.
Yeah,
exactly.
accessibility is funny because it's, again, like disability and accessibility, there's no one size fits all.
No. It's incredibly hard to try and be like, all right, everyone in the room, here you go.
Yeah.
You know?
It's good for everyone, right? We're all good.
Yeah, and it's also like, it's so like stress making, because you're like,
yeah, it's a lot of juggling.
If you didn't, you know, that sound was me juggling.
Exactly. That was a stressful juggling. Well, and I think especially for people who have had a disability for the majority of their lives, it's almost like you grow up with the sense of feeling like you need to make other people comfortable with your situation.
Right. Or have you found like those mean ones who are like, I don't care. You better come to my level.
They're like, you serve me.
You serve
They're like, I'm Mariah Carey, and you're a peasant. I aspire to be that person. I mean, like, honestly, like, maybe that's not the most polite, but like, I admire people that can do that, because for so long, and like, again, maybe because my parents are, you know, people from a certain generation.
Yes.
We didn't talk about disability. I didn't know anyone with a disability, and we didn't ever want to bring attention to it. And so it was like constantly like making sure that other people are just comfortable with you, and that you could do things just so you wouldn't inconvenience anybody.
Totally.
And that sucks really bad. I feel like, I mean, it's a double-edged sword, because it made me independent. And I'm sure it's the same with you. Like, you can move literally across the country and just be fine. But at the same time, like, it's hard to find a voice for yourself in that.
This is the thing about identity too. I mean, we have identities within our like disability sphere, but then we're also people. It's also Lacey. It's also Jerron, and like I don't ever want to divorce, or even like I don't want to conflate those two things. Like I often think about how people with disabilities are kind of like activists by default. You know,
we are always the mascot for our community.
Exactly.
No matter who you run into, like now you're the representative.
Of course.
Now you're the ambassador to the world of disability to someone.
Sometimes.
Even if you're having a bad day.
Even if you're having a bad day.
Especially when you're having a bad day.
Especially when you're having a bad day, and then they're like, ooh, okay.
They're like, oh.
That whole community's.
That's exactly, like, you can't be the jerk now. They can't be like, dang, all those handicapped people are real mean. Like, you can't be, they're real salty about something.
Dang, you'll never.
You're like, it's just a bad day. Okay, so I know that you do you do solos.
I do.
But you dance in groups, I'm sure. Like, what is it like to dance with people with different abilities?
Yeah. You know, in a weird way, it's the same. I mean, you see your partner, you recognize their strengths, you recognize your strengths, you recognize what you can create together, and then move forward. I've actually, for the sake of representation, I guess, most of my duets have been with able-bodied women, which has been great, because again, this thing about the stigma of like, you know, disabled male guy can't get the girl.
That's impossible. Yeah,
exactly.
that never happens in the movies.
But look at this spot check.
Yeah, I mean you're
close
killing
up
it.
on this one.
Oh my God. I was like, he came in, I was like, who is this beautiful man? Who dat?
And so that was like that's been a way to push against the stigma. But then when it comes to just like company in general, I think we have a real ensemble. Like we're all dancing with each other. Even if I have a solo, like I'm really aware of like one of the dancers as they're still, you know? And it's just like, it's this relationship that crosses the whole dance floor.
But going back to our conversation about how, you know, everyone has limits, I'm sure you find like, I've realized the more that I've like dove into the world of disability, and, which is like ironic because like what we do is we work with bodies, but it's also like broken bodies. Or I mean like, you know, slightly askew bodies.
No, they broken.
But it's like, I feel like I've gotten deeper into understanding humanity through the lens of disability.
Yeah.
And then when you work with able-bodied athletes, with able-bodied people, like you're like, oh, we're the same. Frankly, I'm doing much better than you. Yeah.
That is 100% true. I go into a studio so ready to be like on it, you know, like super crip. You said like super,
exactly.
You
You're
said,
like, and then
super crip. Everyone else is like, I'm tired. And I'm like, oh.
You're like, work. Like, do the work. What?
Break? What is that? You know?
I had one training partner a couple years ago. Our training group broke up. It was just me and him, and he's an able-bodied athlete. And like, this man would break down, like, over the most simple of things, and he'd be like, I just can't. Like, he's like, this is like a world medalist, Olympian, insanely talented, and like, we'd get done with our long runs, and he'd take a 20-minute break. I was like, the rest says 3 minutes. He's like, I can't.
What is that about? I don't know. I honestly think it goes back to, for me, it goes back to physical therapy, where like, you didn't finish until
the work was done.
Until your work was done. You do those reps until it's done.
Until the work is done.
I think it's because you're not. It's almost like the whole floor is lava, and so you have to be like, I have to keep going. I can't stop.
Yeah, you're like, but it's actually lava.
It actually
like
is
for
lava.
them, it's a game, and you're like, no, I'm gonna actually melt.
I'm gonna melt because like if I don't get into society, then it's a wrap.
Then
you know, if I don't become a part of like mainstream society, then it's off. If I can't integrate.
Thank you.
It's real.
Do you find that the mental approach that you have is different from other dancers?
Woo! Entirely.
Yeah.
I am ready.
You're going in like...
It's almost like unless someone tells me I broke my arm, I don't think I did, you know? Or unless someone's like, you're gonna hurt yourself that way, I'll
go until I die.
I go as hard as I can.
Yeah.
And because I never wanted to be a whiny cripple. Like that was, I would tell myself that every single day, which kind of relates to this, like, you know, Pick Last and Gym, like the title of this podcast, because it's like, I just felt it so much. Like I didn't want to give anyone a reason to just count me, you know?
Yeah.
And so it was always back to that. But here I am, you know, again, like it's because of my movement that I'm even a dancer, right? It's because of my composition. I say it all the time. Like everything that like historically is marginalized, being black, being even a male, sometimes. I know we don't really think it, but like,
honestly, right now, 2019, it's kind of hard to be a guy.
It kind of is hard to be a guy.
I mean, like it's still not that hard, but it's harder.
Right. It's like
it's harder than it was.
If something goes wrong, it's like, man.
Which man? Yeah.
It's like, so yeah, like the 3 strikes, like black, male, and disabled, like, you know, but yet those 3 factors are why I'm where I am.
Yeah.
So it does really put me in.
It's a paradox.
It's a paradox.
Yeah.
Arduous
I love
paradox.
words.
You've been bringing it.
That's why I'm here. I talk so much. And I know so many words. They're like, you know what, let's just set up a mic.
Yeah.
All right. Just talking about yourself too much.
Yeah, the mental game is different. And I think that there is a quality of aspiration that my peers take from looking at me. That's a little probably like arrogant, but
no, but it's
there's
true.
a quality of work that, you know, they see because I'm in their midst.
I've really been looking forward to being able to sit down and talk with you.
Thank you, Lacey. I had an amazing time with you.
And now people can go use Google and watch some of your movement.
Yeah, they can.
After the show. All right, thanks again.
Thank you.
This was Pick Last in Gym Class.
Thank you for checking out this week's show. Be sure to check out the Pick Last in Gym Class podcast for an extended interview with Jerron, available on all podcasting platforms.